We're excited here at NIST to partner with the American Academy of Forensic Sciences QD section, which is great, the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners, American Society of QD Examiners, FBI Laboratory, NIJ, or National Institute of Justice, and the SWIGDoc, or the Scientific Working Group for Forensic Document Examinations. And it was this partnership, this planning team, each of the members of those groups had a member on the planning team which helped devise and put together the agenda and invite the speakers for this particular event. So it was truly a collaborative event, and it is a free event to attend, obviously. You can tell since you didn't have to pay to get past the guard shack. But because of that, we don't have any federally provided coffee or $16 muffins or anything like that. It's very much do it on your own. So we have a wonderful cafeteria around the corner here that can supply, coffee and drinks, and they sell food by the pound for lunch and breaks. So the purpose of this event is to enhance, we feel, to enhance the current state of forensic document examination, specifically handwriting, through making folks aware of the advancements in measurement science and standards that have occurred and the research investments that have taken place to push this discipline forward. What we're going to talk about over the next 2 days, and hopefully most of you will be able to spend both days with us, we're going to start. We have a logical theme here, and hopefully you'll agree. So we're going to start with the current state of handwriting analysis, talking about the techniques and limitations. We're going to go into some of the dialogue about ASTM and the standards that exist there. We're going to talk about the foundational science behind handwriting, then move on to reproducibility and reliability studies, advances in measurement science and handwriting analysis. So we're going to talk about models and software programs. So at the end of the day, make sure you have some caffeine with you, because it's going to be like 2 hours and 15 minutes of my friend Joanne from the FBI and a bunch of software and other companies and other researchers talking hardcore quantitative models and programs. So it'll be really cool to see that. So make sure you're up for that one. We're going to jump into statistics on day 2. So we'll have about 2.5 hours of statistical discussions on different models that exist, likelihood ratios and things like that, that we will talk through. And then we'll move on to the legal implications of quantitative testimony, which might be a little bit of a change for the discipline as we go forward if you're presenting quantitative type conclusions in the future versus more qualitative type conclusions. So we'll get have a discussion with about one of NIST's working groups, and some of the commentary and presentation from Ken Melson on some of the legal aspects there. We're going to close up the lectures with discussing other analysis tools to support metrics and handwriting analysis. So again, with the theme here, trying to make folks aware of the different models that might help you with your daily routines, and in particular help bring more quantitative type aspects into the examination process. And we'll close out the day on day 2 with a facilitated discussion. And so the purpose of that is we would like to discuss what the future of handwriting analysis could look like based on all the information that we've had over these 2 days. Talk about the barriers to achieving that state. What would we need in order to achieve that? More money, more research, more collaborators, databases. What do you need? And then develop actually a roadmap on how to get there, and to see if we could start mapping progress towards achieving that future state. But before we achieve that future state, this group here and folks on the internet are going to have to define what that future state is. So I have a few housekeeping notes to make as well to allow you guys to kind of know what's going on behind the scenes, like the 21-second delay that we have. So for those in the internet, there is a 21-second delay from when we say something to when they hear it. So we have to try to mitigate that as best we can. So we would ask the folks on the internet, if you have a question for a particular speaker, you can either submit it through Twitter or email, and I'll go through that in a second. But submit it when you have the question, not after the speaker is presented. Because when the questions come up, and you guys can actually do the same here, if you would like to not verbally ask it but email it in, you can. I'm going to be getting the questions over here through the email or through Twitter. We have someone monitoring the Twitter feed and pulling the questions off and shooting them over to me for us to tee up. But if you wait till the end of the presentations, that delay is going to inhibit us getting the question to the presenter in a timely fashion. And we typically get more questions than we have time to answer, so we'll just do the best we can to address the questions. There are printable slides that are on the internet for all the talks that we received ahead of time. I do have 60 copies of the talks that we received ahead of time for today coming up from our print shop. They didn't quite make it by the 9 o'clock time frame, but when they come in, we'll hand those 60 copies out for folks that want to take notes on the particular slides. Again, not all the talks are in there, but the ones that we had by the printing deadline are in there. Also, we asked folks to bring their smartphones or iPads to the event, because if you have a question, again, there's Wi-Fi access that you can get on site here from there's codes out at the desk, or those out in cyberspace that are watching in a conference room. We would like to get individual comments or questions from you, not necessarily the person that's controlling the computer. So if there's 10 of you in a conference room, 10 of you can ask questions if you have your cell phone and an internet browser to just ask the questions. And we do have some poll questions that we're going to be going through a little bit later, just to get some data about the attendees, and also how many folks are using some of these quantitative models out there, just to get a little bit of data to help us understand the current state of things. So we would ask that you bring your smartphones. If you didn't bring it today, bring them tomorrow, and ask questions. So the questions can be emailed in to forensic. It's FORENSIC, forensic at NIST.gov. It would be forensics, but we had an 8-character limitation. So forensic, we could go to that whole story about the railroads and Rome and all that. But anyway, yes, we have an 8-character limitation. So forensic. And we also have a Twitter feed. Like I said, one of my colleagues will be watching the Twitter feed and pulling questions off there. The Twitter feed, if you are a tweeter, is pound NIST forensics with the S. So that's NIST FORENSIC, pound NIST forensics. And they have rigged it up so the Twitter feed will now play on the side of the webcast. So those in the cyberspace that are watching me right now, if someone is tweeting funny things about my tie, you can see that in real time, and you don't have to switch your browsers. We will be archiving this for 6 months. So it usually takes us about a week to turn this around. We will be archiving all the presentations for the next 2 days, except for the facilitated session. Everything will be archived and available from the conference website for 6 months for folks to view these at their leisure.